Welcome back to Chats con Sabor. This is Yvette, and I'm here with my two beautiful co hosts, Linda and Joanna. And today we have a very special guest.
Yes.
Our friend Sarah. Hi.
Wow. Welcome, Sarah.
Welcome. Today we are having a very intimate conversation. It is our third installation of Let's Talk About Sex, Baby, our series. Today we're going down some crazy roads. So just like a couple of episodes ago with our intimate girl talk, I want to say that if you are squeamish about conversations that get a little bit explicit, then please turn us off at this moment. Definitely don't listen in front of your kids because you know us, we talk about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. First of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah. I am actually a kind of new friend to these girlies, but we connected really quickly, and it's been such a fun ride. And when I started listening to their podcast and really hearing about it, I said, I want to join. So here I am. But yes, I'm 40 years old, a mother of a young daughter. I'm on my second marriage, happily married, and basically grew up and raised in Georgia. So I'm happy to be here. So thank y'all.
Thanks so much for joining us. Ladies, we are coming back from me being away for 2 weeks. So I just kind of want to
dare you.
Let's touch a little bit on how it was with me gone. What'd you do over the holiday break and stuff?
It was so sad.
I don't think so. They sent me pictures like, we miss you. Yeah, but they're having fun without me.
Well, for me, it was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. While you were gone, it was my sister's birthday, and then Christmas and New Year's, which I was really glad to have my daughter, foster daughter, stepdaughter, whatever label people want to put it. After 2 years of not seeing her, so that was beautiful, but it was also very emotionally draining, I guess, because it's again, I'm separated, right? So life looks different now. And I think it was also hard for her to accept the fact that Dad and I are not together. Because, again, my kids are used to it now. It's a year of back and forth and the 50-50 or whatever. This is the first time ever that she sees what she calls in her mind, Mom and Dad, separated, right?
Yeah.
So she had all these questions and she had, like, all these emotions. So I think for me, it was a little difficult to process that. But other than that, I think it was a good time. I think I shared in the holiday episode that the holidays always hard for me, right? So it was definitely hard emotionally, and you add that on top. But we had some good times. I had some great experiences, so I refuse to neglect the good times just because some other times were rough.
Yeah.
But overall, good time.
You focus on the good, which is good.
For sure.
Joanna, did you get to have any
I did.
alone time and
I got some alone time.
winter cleaning?
I did a ton of winter cleaning, organizing. Of course, my love is in Alaska, so that was a little sad. So I did have some hard times. But at the same time, I had some great times. I got to spend a lot of time with my kids, with my grandson, with friends. So it was bittersweet, I would say.
Good. Well, I had a fantastic time. I met my mom out there in California, hung out with my daughters. She had her first holiday party as an adult in her boyfriend's house. And so that was actually really fun. And I was so proud of her because she was kind of stressed out, but she just took everything in stride. She's like a natural, like event planner and hostess.
Yeah.
She's a natural. So yeah, it was pretty fun. And I stayed out there until after New Year's. I ended up getting sick, like bedridden for a couple of days. So yeah, that was kind of bad. But I don't know, it kind of forced me to stop, slow down and really like unwind and I mean, I guess relax, but I literally was out.
Your body put you out.
My body's like, nope, out. Like
you're going to bed.
Yeah, no energy whatsoever. So that was pretty bad. But I was better by New Year's Eve, and then we just kind of I went over to my cousin's house and we just had a very relaxing, slow, mellow New Year's Eve. So
Good.
it was good. Yeah. And I am happy to be back home, happy to be in my bed.
We're happy to have you back.
Yes, we are.
I missed you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's jump right into our spicy convo today.
And it's going to be spicy.
Yes, it's going to be so spicy. Okay. I think what we want to do, we had kind of talked about it. We don't want this to be like an interview. We're not interviewing you. We just kind of want your experiences, because as we've had conversations, like we always say, we had a conversation about this, at the bar or at wherever, at dinner, whatever. So we wanted to bring your perspective and your different experiences into our conversation, right? But we do have questions. So I guess
want to know.
It's going to be kind of like an interview, but kind of not, just
I
because.
am prepared and ready and excited.
Well, and we've never been, and I'm talking about the major topic of swinging.
Yes.
Okay. Come to find out, where we live here in Georgia, we're kind of close to a lake. And I think I had heard this when I first moved here, but I didn't know it was in my area here. And we all, the four of us, live very close by each other, like, minutes away, less than 10 minutes in every direction. So, but I did not know that we had this like vibrant community here. Yes. I knew on the other side of the lake, up north a little bit. Down south a little bit. And actually a little bit up north too, but never here in our, immediate vicinity. So this was news to me. Linda saying I knew.
Well, yeah, I knew. And I shared with you ladies this before, right? When I recently separated, I had a bar that I would go to every Friday after work. I got into the habit of Friday for lunch or early happy hour, whatever. I will go to this. It's really a restaurant, but it has a bar. So I will sit at the bar, have my meal. I was alone. I'm not from Georgia. I don't know anybody. I don't have friends. I'm going through a separation. Yeah, I have family, but after frequenting this bar, which I will say, that's where Yvette picked me up. And not in the swinging way, but that's how we became friends. But anyways, I got approached, and I will say in a very friendly way. And because I feel, even now talking to you ladies, and as open as I am in this podcast, I do feel like I'm a little vanilla in comparison to what I've now known that people experience, right? So I was there and I'm having my drink, at this point I know the bartenders, we're having a good time. And then I have this couple next to me, they're just friendly, they're buying me shots, happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. Taking pictures of me. Here, give me your number. Let me send it to you so you have pictures. And in my mind, I'm just thinking they're being friendly.
How nice.
How nice of you. Well, here I come to find out that these experiences that I've been going through after sharing with other people and after they're telling me, hello, Linda, you live by the lake, duh. Yes. I never realized that they were hitting on me. I honestly did not pick up on the fact. I just thought they were friendly couples. But anyway, so to me, you're right. I never knew this is where I lived until my separation. And I was hanging out at a bar by myself every Friday. But I will say, and I will give it to them, the swinging community where we live, they're respectful.
Yes, they are.
And very friendly. Mm-hmm. So tell us, Sarah. Tell us more.
Yeah, so in regards to kind of this area, absolutely. I think, being from Georgia, Atlanta is obviously going to be a big start of that. But it definitely, kind of moves around that metro area. And, lake life is such a big deal around here. And, something about, boats and hoes. They just go together. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Not hoes, but perfect. I think it's, why I think it's like that? I think, like you said, like what I was not expecting when I came into this, we call it the lifestyle. When I came into the lifestyle, a few years ago, I didn't really know what the actual group looked like. And I originally thought it was just a bunch of horny people, like just,
horny tias?
Yeah, horny ants. that just wanted to, basically cheat on their people and not get in trouble, right? And that's honestly what I thought. And what I came to realize was it's a lot more in depth than that. There's a lot of dynamics in that. But really, like you said, Linda, these people are, you, me, anybody. They're normal people who, at home, they have children, they have marriages, they go to church, they, go to dinner just like anybody else. And some of them even, like, nobody in their life even knows that they're in the lifestyle. So when you think of it in that way, I mean, they're just normal people, like, like any of us, walking and talking. And that's actually something that really drew me to continue to stay in the lifestyle for as long as I did, was because of the community and the kindness of the people. And when you get with people who have, a mindset like that, it's very non-judgmental. It's very open, and you feel like you can really let go and be yourself. So when, I heard about your experiences and being hit on by a couple and not really realizing that maybe there was more to that and an introduction into that lifestyle. I agree. It's not abrupt. It's not mean. It wasn't conniving. It's not pushing. It's very kind. And a lot of times in that lifestyle, that's exactly what it is. They're people that they want to be your friends, and they want to experience life with you, not just sexually. And I think that's again, like, why I was so drawn to it, because I'm a social person.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Joanna and I had
I was waiting for this because I wanted to talk about this.
Okay.
Because we text Sarah.
right away. Yeah, we texted Sarah. We were at our local bar. Again, unbeknownst to me.
Yes.
Corey and I were out of town, right?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, I think you
okay.
guys
We
were.
were out of town.
Yeah. Oh, I think you had your daughter that
No,
weekend.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Something. We could be there.
Yes.
Because otherwise, I probably would have been there.
So, unbeknownst to me, like I said, I had no idea that
We just went in for
our
a regular
vicinity. Yeah.
night.
We just went in. We had gone to go have dinner, her and I, because Linda was
The Christmas party.
Christmas party. That's right. Oh yeah, because then you went later. That's
Then
right.
you-
Yeah.
And then, so Joanna and I were there, and right away we texted Sarah like, "Oh my gosh, there's a swingers party here!" And it wasn't like a party like you would think, like a party, right? Your mind goes all. They were having their company
get
Christmas
together.
party.
Well,
Yeah.
we would have never known unless we were told. And we were told.
Yes, and we were told because
So we were
they
now
had
aware.
the back patio kind of like blocked off. So
So they were in the back.
and kind of separated from the bar.
And separated from
Yeah.
the bar, which is, I think that's why it would have been hard to recognize, at least to me.
Yeah,
Because it looks like there's a company having a party in the back.
that's what we thought.
Like they rented the patio
Yes.
or
Well,
something.
again, you have to remember, these are normal people. just
Yeah,
like all of
yeah.
us.
And I don't know what
They
we
might-
had in our minds
I
that
know.
was going to be
You
like,
were thinking like
what?
a big orgy and yeah, booby tassels.
I'm not gonna lie, that's what I thought. I said, "Oh God, here we go."
That is so funny.
People making out,
Everywhere.
touching, grabbing, touching. That's what I
No,
thought.
I think in a public place
Setting,
like
yeah.
that, and I would love to talk more about some of those experiences in a little bit.
Yeah.
But all the different places that you may find these groups of people, but it's a well-known situation where if you are in a public setting with other people that are not familiar or may not be familiar with the lifestyle,
You
they wouldn't know.
Right.
And I think that's just that kind of silent code of conduct to
Mhm.
behave, because at the end of the day, we're all adults. A lot of these people have children, have very high up careers, jobs, teachers. I mean, you think
So they
of
need
it,
to be discreet then, right? There's
Absolutely.
discretion.
But it's
But
a
when you have
community.
newbies like us and we don't know what's
With your
happening,
binoculars.
our brains start going.
Well, when are they going to get
Yeah.
naked?
What's happening? What's going
Here's
on?
the thing. I think that's
Who's gonna go home with who?
That's the beauty. I feel, I personally, anyways, I think that's the beauty of our podcast, right? That we're willing to explore any type of
Different
conversation,
Yes.
any type of topic.
I agree.
Well, we talk about everything.
True.
Yeah.
But again, that's the beauty because, again, the three of us, right? We have never been part of the lifestyle. We don't know, again, right? And then I share right now about how I went to a bar and I was approached and I didn't know.
All of a sudden, you realize it's all around you.
Yeah, because when you think about swinging, it sounds very kinky. It sounds a little, disrespectful.
Sounds very eyes wide shut.
Yeah.
To me.
And I will be the one to say it is not.
Well, I was gonna say that it sounds more like
It can
shouldn't.
be.
Yeah, it can be. Well, in my mind, I feel like in our brains, right, that doesn't happen in our world. In our world, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So then when we walk in, and I walk in way later, but when we walk into our bar, not that we own it, but we go there every other weekend at the very least.
Yes.
All of a sudden, there's a swingers party. We're like, what?
This isn't our area.
Yeah, this is not the bar I go to, But we do.
Well, a couple of funny things to add when you say, "Well, this is our area." So the lake is there's a big community there that when you get into the lake, every marina has a specific dock that they're known for the swingers area. I could share those.
Wow.
With
Holiday too?
interested.
Holiday too?
Holiday has.
Holiday.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends at Holiday.
Yeah, and so a lot of them were at that local bar.
Yes.
That's a big one. Do you guys know about Paradise Valley in Dawsonville?
Okay. So let me tell you a story. Quick story. We went sometime in 2023. I can't remember
To Paradise
when.
Valley?
No, but we went to a bar up and coming.
Yeah.
Okay. And so where I know that there's swingers out there. Met this guy. He was singing, had a beautiful voice, and he's looking into my eyes and singing right next to me, blue-eyed, kind of hippie-looking guy, And then so we exchanged numbers. He asked me for my number, and then he says, we start talking. We get on the phone one night and he's like, I want to take you out on a date and whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. His date consisted of going to Indian Seats. He wanted to take me hiking, basically. Okay. So anybody who knows me knows that I love nature, but I am not a nature girl. Like I love the outdoors, but I'm not outdoorsy. Okay. I like to look at nature. I like to go and touch trees and hug trees, but yes, exactly. Drive me there. And then I have bad knees. Anyway, it's a whole thing for me. Okay. I used to go hiking and stuff when I was younger, but anyway, not anymore. So I'm thinking to myself, gosh, this is so weird, He says, well, okay, we can go somewhere else. And then he kind of mentions some restaurant. I've never heard of this restaurant. And then he's like, yeah, maybe I could just take you to the club. And I was like, oh, the club. I'm thinking a nightclub. Yeah, and I'm like, you go to a nightclub? That's weird. He's like a hippie guy, nature lover, whatever, He sends me pictures of this club. He's like, I'm at the club right now. And I'm like, club? Are you talking about a country club? Like a golf club, He says, kind of. He says, kind of. And then I said, okay. And he sends me pictures and it's literally men playing beach volleyball. Yeah. With their dinglings hanging out. And I'm going like, why did you send me this? And I'm looking at I zoom in on the picture because is this one of them him? Well, I'm thinking, is it him? Is he playing with these men, And then none of them are him. He's the one that took the picture. And he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for my turn. And I was like, are you naked?
Yeah.
Yes. He says because it's a nudist
resort.
call. I had no idea. And he said Paradise, whatever it's called. I'm like, oh.
Wait, hold on. I mean, it's a nudist. What?
So
nudist colony.
I can actually give
nudist colony.
But they're swingers as well.
If you say nudist colony, they'll say we're not ants. We don't live in a colony.
Okay.
It's a nudist resort.
Okay.
Community.
It's a community of naked people. So it's actually funny. So that location has been around for years, and this is why I laugh about being in the lifestyle now as an adult. When I was in college, so again, I'm 40, so this was over 20 years ago. I was very outdoorsy. We played ultimate frisbee. We were on track and field. We did all that kind of stuff. And I had this really cool group of like guy friends who we always were traveling, going camping, just finding things to get into. Mm-hmm. And that location has a naked 5K that you can run in the spring and in the fall.
I can't imagine.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. My boobs. Yeah. Oh, and I got little boobs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a whole thing.
Gosh.
So
your ass cheeks, balls.
I'm laughing.
We're
gonna go. run naked. We're 16 years old. So like hilarious. Yeah, we'll go. And that was 20 some years ago. It was more of what they call like a nudist resort. It was more, now people do live there. They have properties within, like there's a gate when you come in and you check in, and, it's very, it's well put together, very organized, but there are, cabins, there are condos, but then at the center of it all is like a big area for group gathering. So there's a pool, there's volleyball courts, there's, a clubhouse where they can have like dance parties and dinners, and, it really is like a whole community. And some of these people live there year round, where others maybe have a timeshare and they rent it out. But it's become this, it's always been a nudist resort, but over the past 10 years, it's definitely more to the swinger side.
That's what he said. He explained that to me too. I was like,
wow. Family, because I remember even, 17, 18 going to those nudist runs for fun, college kids, and there were children there that were naked. But it wasn't sex and like nasty. It was just, that was the way of living.
It was an Adam and Eve community.
It was basically like you live like that as a family, and that was just your culture, let's call it. And it wasn't weird. I almost like when I first got there, I remember I was 16, 17, I wasn't comfortable with my body anyways. And I remember I got down to like my bathing suit, but I was not feeling comfortable to get fully nude. Until I came out in my bathing suit and everyone was nude, and I felt like the odd man. I felt like I was being disrespectful and people were staring at me. So I ended up going nude, and then I felt great, So it was just one of those, again, that was like my first experience without knowing that was something. And then, like I said, 20 something years later, it's definitely more of a place where a lot of swingers go. They have a lot of swinging get-togethers or lifestyle get-togethers. They celebrate holidays there. We have people that are members there, friends that are members, and friends that have, condos there or timeshare. So it's a whole thing.
Wow, that is so crazy.
So that's like only 45 minutes away from us, and that's a big one. And then we talk about that other place, the actual swinging club, the sex club in Atlanta, and that's the real deal. I mean, when you go there, especially if you go into like the diamond area, where like, let's call that the VIP area, where most of the lifestyle, like the hardcore, like swingers, let's call it, are members of. Yes.
Tough question. Sorry, I'm raising my hand. For once, I wish we had a camera, because between my jaw dropping and me raising my hand, it's crazy. I already have questions. I'm sorry.
It's priceless.
Please.
So you talk about this club, right? Which obviously we have no idea of what it looks like. And you talk about going VIP. Do you have to pay more to go there?
Yes, absolutely. So I think the way that they do it is really good. Now, Corey and I, we love our money. So sometimes we're like, is it worth spending the money? And sometimes we go, no. And other times, but there are people that, when they live for the lifestyle. It's not just a little part of them. It's like a full life for them. Like that is what they do every weekend. And they buy memberships, and some of these memberships are thousands of dollars a year. But when you get there, you see why. So when you go into Diamond Club, it's basically when we call the front part like general population. That's
is there only 2 layers? Front entrance and VIP, let's say? General admission and VIP?
Like general population, and then there's the Diamond Club.
Okay, thank you.
And the majority of times we'll go into Diamond Club because you definitely get a different experience, more our style. But, general population, they have, a dance floor and a DJ and the smoke and the lights, and you can dance. And they do have some of the little secret rooms. And then they have the big rooms where, people are, partaking.
Multiple people?
Participating. Yeah.
Okay.
They have an orgy bed, like a one bed that's specific for groups of people who want to, be like that. So they're all different. But when you go to the Diamond Club, it's a little bit more
upscale?
Exclusive. You have, cocktail girls walking around, a better bar situation, really sexy lighting, the marble floors, the pretty bathrooms, the velvet couches, the velvet walls, the cigar room. It's big. It's not just a little room, but it's almost like 2 different clubs in one.
Okay.
But what I love about when you do go in the diamond room, it feels like, you go in and you're dressed to the nines. It's a sexy night out, and it's, cocktail dresses, very short mini skirts. They do a lot of themes, which are so fun. Like they'll do schoolgirl theme and everyone's in like schoolgirl outfits, or they'll do, whatever it is, Mardi Gras, neon, glow in the dark. There's all sorts of themes, and it's always fun. Like girls love to dress up in a good theme.
Yeah. So different questions.
Yeah.
Same theme. Does the amount of people that go changes throughout the seasons? Meaning, like right now, like you asked me, it's too cold. I don't want to look sexy, and I don't want to go anywhere because I want to just. It's too cold.
Well, a lot of the time, because it's a club, so you go in, you're standing outside in line to get in. You got to wait and you clock in or whatever you call it when you get to the front. So there are sometimes lines. So most people, you don't actually see what they're wearing. They have a locker room, like a full locker room with showers and stuff where you can change.
Okay.
And you have your own locker where you can, put whatever. So usually like when we would go, I'd wear, what I'm wearing, like whether it's lingerie or a really sexy dress or something, and then like have a jacket or something over it. Or if it was summertime and I didn't want to walk around and drive, and have to stop at the gas station halfway in lingerie, I'd wear like regular clothes and then, and change once you get there. But no, when you're a member there, your door fee is included. Because these sex clubs, there are laws against somewhere they can't sell alcohol. So it's BYOB, which is really convenient.
Yeah.
But you basically, when you're a member, you have a number.
Okay, now
and you get a wristband, and you bring your own alcohol. They put it behind the bar, and the bartenders serve you your alcohol. And they have all the mixers, and you tip your bartenders.
Okay.
And they have a full buffet. And when I talk about, we're not talking about Golden Corral here. We're talking crab legs, steaks, like high-end, full chefs. And
now you're talking my language.
Yeah. People go for dinner first, like at 8 or 9 o'clock. They'll go and have a nice dinner, and then usually, I think don't quote me on this, but kind of as it gets late night, they'll switch the food offering to more breakfast food, eggs and bacon and stuff. So yeah, and it's and there's all sorts of things. So when I think about
crab legs up there.
Yeah,
I can't eat eggs, so I'm out.
Yeah,
but you're there for the crab legs.
Yeah, I'm there for the crab legs.
Not the eggs.
Yeah, but then, and then a lot of the girls think, I can't eat there. I'm wearing lingerie. Like, then there's me. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I'm hungry. So yeah, I mean, kind of reining it back in. I think a lot of people don't realize that you're walking with the swingers at all times, and I know of all the bars around here that cater to that group, and there's hotel takeovers where there's groups of swingers who will rent out an entire hotel.
Yeah. Wow.
And everybody like hangs out at the pool all weekend, and it's like a luau, and then the hotel doors stay open.
Yeah.
And everybody just pops around and says hello, and but it gets.
Can you close the doors if you want to? Okay.
That's a big rule. Even
Come on, can we close this?
Yeah, even at the club. So when you go into the club, let's talk about when you go in Diamond Room. When you first walk in, it's a beautiful, like bright lit bar or downlit bar, I guess you could say, with the marble floors and the cute cocktail tables, and that's usually where like most people congregate. And then to the left of that is like all these beautiful like velvet couches and tables where you can sit, and if you want to have sex there, you're welcome to. And then they have this like room, but it's just like those curtains that you like kind of pull across.
Yeah.
And it's one massive bedroom, like a bed. And that, I mean, that could cater 12 to 20 people easily. So there's a lot of orgies that happen in there.
Yeah.
And then if you go around the corner, they have like a fun, like a, I don't want to call it dominatrix room, but they have like, it's got the wedge chairs, and then, may have some like
I don't even know what that means. A what room?
Like a
dummy what?
Dominatrix.
Oh, dominatrix. Okay,
like
got it.
whips and chains and handcuffs and stuff.
Remember,
they have
vanilla.
Stripper poles.
Vanilla. Tell me more.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stripper poles. They do have these cute little rooms, like where they have a bed and like a nightstand and a lamp and stuff, where you can close the door. And there's a well-known rule in the lifestyle where if the door's closed, like you don't come in. But if it's open, that means like feel free to pop in and watch. And then the other big rule with it is the consent rule.
Oh.
You never, ever, ever step in without asking.
Beautiful.
And there's a lot of people that push it.
How the hell do you ask something like that? Like you go up to
join.
I mean, people are fucking, and you're like, "Excuse me,
on the shoulder.
You can, but
can I please pop in?"
I doubt it doesn't
Can I
happen.
lick you while you do the business?
Bend over a little further. Yeah.
It's probably
It's more that more happens beforehand.
yeah. I was gonna say it's
Okay.
a little bit more scheduled.
Yeah, like if you're around the bar and there's couples and two couples like are, because you got to remember there's so many different dynamics. Like swinging is not just two couples that swap. It could be a couple and a woman. It could be a couple and a man.
Slow down a second. For people like me that we are unaware of the reality. Like you said, I walk around with swingers around me and I could never know. So how does that look like? Give me a little more of the dynamics. Because again, you're right. In my brain, swinging means I have two couples that swap.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no more to that.
Yeah. So, and even in that, there's more. Like you can have two couples that swap, but it could be a full swap, meaning you both are completely swapped and you're both fully penetrating.
Yeah.
You could do a soft swap where you both swap and it's just oral. You could do full swaps in different rooms. You could do full swaps together. You could do, there's all different ways. And then you even have to have the dynamics. Like, do the girls play together? Do the guys play together? So it sounds weird, or not weird, but uncomfortable to have those conversations. But when you're there and you're in it and you're around like people, that's a very common conversation. Just like we would have with like, hey, do you like to go out to dinner? And this is like, hey, do you like to swap in the same room or separate? Like it's more open to those conversations and those rules. And then even further down, like when you have a couple, they may even have extra layers of what that specific together they like or don't like. Or they, some couples may say, hey, we don't kiss others. Or,
all the rules and
kissing
boundaries.
is very intimate to me, in my opinion. Yeah.
Listen,
well,
we've talked about this. Kissing to me is almost more intimate than having sex.
Absolutely.
Having sex could be transactional.
Yes.
But kissing is about passion, love. I care for you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anyways, continue.
But some couples don't kiss. Some couples are okay without using protection, where others that's a must. So it's more of just a very open conversation. From what I've experienced personally, as well as heard from other couples, there's never been situations where people are like, absolutely not bi. Like you work around other people because the connections are there, right?
Okay.
And then, it was funny because when I was first listening, I think it might have been y'all's first or second episode when I was listening to your podcast and y'all talked about unicorns, I kept laughing because y'all were talking about a unicorn is someone that like meets all the standards or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So a unicorn is a very big term in the lifestyle.
Swinging world.
A unicorn is a single woman. It's a manicorn if it's a man, but you don't see that very often. A single woman who is available for couples but not looking like for those relationships or whatever. And
so they thought I was a unicorn when I was at the bar.
And the reason
they thought I was a unicorn.
And
we'll get to that story.
The reason they call it a unicorn is because it's not very common in the lifestyle. Those are a dime a dozen, and I hate to say it, especially if you're hot, because typically, and this is not against any of the lifestyle people, but typically, if you have a woman who is single and has a good physique, who's socially, inept, who's smart, who checks all the boxes for anybody, they're probably not in the lifestyle. They're probably, out there looking for a
man,
or I don't want to call it normal, but a more regular type of thing, or a husband or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, in my more recent experiences, that is all we personally dealt with. That's all. Like we were not full swap. It was very, just unicorns only. And those unicorns we had to double, triple, quadruple check that they weren't looking for anything more than just a good time.
Yeah.
We're not entertaining you. We're not in a relationship with you. But yeah, so when you guys mentioned unicorns, it made me chuckle because that's a huge
Totally not what we
Yeah.
were talking about.
and it's because the majority of people in the lifestyle, like a unicorn is at the top of their list. They want to find a unicorn, a girl that can please the man and the woman, who isn't looking for more than that, who's just a fun time and someone that can keep themselves, because it's hard. You got to imagine as a couple, especially married couples, like the girl has to be good with the girl. The guy obviously has to be good with the girl, and there has to be that full dynamic and understanding. And I think I was a unicorn for a little bit. And I think being a unicorn is one of the hardest roles in the lifestyle, because
You have to please them both.
not only that,
And
but
give
you
the
have
peace?
to tiptoe emotionally.
Yeah.
You can't show
Yeah.
favoritism to the man, because that's going to piss the girl off.
Mhm.
In most cases, some of these lifestyle people, they don't care and it's all in. But then as well, like a girl has to have a good relationship with a girl as a friend. Is it somebody that you feel comfortable, if you got to get up and go pee, she's not whispering in your husband's ear, like, something. So it's a big dynamic. Again, this is just my opinion. There's so many layers to the
Of
lifestyle.
course.
And I say that because, if ever a lifestyle person popped on, they'd probably like, you're wrong. That's not always.
Well,
But
and that's the beauty of our podcast,
Yeah.
right? Because there's 3 Latinas here,
Yeah.
and we have walked life differently. We have done things, and that this is really the reason why we decided to get together and create this podcast. Because when we started having conversations, and we're laughing and we're having a good time, and we're willing to have these
Yeah.
odd conversations that, I'll be honest, I probably haven't even had with my own sister, right?
Yeah.
But I found trust in these girls,
Yeah.
and then we came to realize that, you know what, people don't talk about this stuff. And that's
Mhm.
why in one of the earlier episodes, I emphasized, listen, you are a fly in a wall,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Like, we're just having girl talk,
Yeah.
like we are just us. We're just crazy enough so that the whole world listen to it.
Right.
We annoy the shit out of people around us every
the
single
time.
time
Yeah.
because we're talking and we're laughing and
Having a great
I
time.
mean, we're just having a great time. We're very open.
Take it
But
or leave it.
hold on, it brings me to my question.
Mhm.
Since Linda already asked questions, my turn.
And
What?
I'll ask more.
What brought you into
Yeah.
this lifestyle?
That was gonna be my
And
question.
side note, before I answer that, you guys do know, like, the Latin culture is a huge group. in
Oh,
Spain.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
massive, and they
Oh,
are
yeah.
like the sexy ones.
Oh, they're
The
Spicy
fire.
right?
Caliente, caliente, caliente.
Yes, very
Yeah,
much.
I mean,
so.
we're not Latin, and we spoke in an earlier podcast how Latinas, like okay, I'll talk just for myself, okay?
Yeah.
So for the longest, because I've been so vanilla, grown
Yeah.
in church, been in a relationship for so long, I always felt like my sexual drive made me crazy. Like, I felt like it was too much. I felt like people, even though I dealt with people couldn't handle my vanilla-ness,
Yeah.
right? Other people could not handle, I
They're trying to
guess.
put a damper on your
Right.
caliente.
Correct. But then talking to these ladies, I come to realize that my desires and my drive, at this point, I'm going to come to realize it's a Hispanic thing.
Yeah,
We all have that fire.
that fire.
That, but then we think about it, the songs, everything
Everything's sex
everything is
and-
sexy
yeah,
and
and
romantic
love
and
and- yeah,
love. And
Dancing close.
so how
and-
can I not, when I grew up watching hot soap operas on TV
Right.
and the music and
How
everything
could you
else?
not feel that?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The Latin culture is very big in the lifestyle, and
But I am surprised. Even though I
Yeah.
shouldn't be, I
Yeah.
am. Because I feel like men are so macho in our culture that
Yeah.
why would they want to share their woman?
yeah,
In my brain, again, in my naive, unknowing brain, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about how the Latino men are so macho and the Latino women are so jealous.
yeah,
So in my brain, for you to tell me that
Yeah.
it's very big, I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised because I know we're hot and
Yes.
sexy, and
Yes.
we want that.
yeah,
But because we're so territorial,
yeah. It's hard to break that wall down.
it has taken me by surprise.
Yeah, yeah, it's there. It's definitely there, and they are always the best dressed and the sexy dancers and the hottest bodies, and you're always like, oh, the Latins, like, they're just- oh my god.
Damn
So,
these Latinas.
I know, for real. But yeah, they're there for sure. So to answer your question, Donna, so I was coming out of a 15-year relationship marriage, and very vanilla from when I was, 22. So basically out of college for 15 years, I was with an older gentleman. We had a 14-year age gap, and it was a good relationship, but it was that very vanilla, very square, you go to work, you go to work, we pay the bills, we clean the house, and we go to church, and we, watch the kids. And, it was very vanilla, nothing bad, nothing sad, just vanilla and boring. And on top of that, I was only 22, and obviously you kind of grow in your sexuality a lot when you're in your 20s and even into your 30s. And as I was going through that, I was separated, not quite to the divorce line, but we were, living separately. I was out to lunch at one of our local restaurants, and with a friend, and the two of us were talking, having a good time, having a couple margaritas, and this couple, walked by, and both of us like kind of turned around as they walked by. We're like, man, they are hot. They just like exude sexy. Like you could tell they were confident and they worked out and they had tattoos and just very like a sexy couple. And I kind of watched them as they went out, and the gentleman must have caught me watching them. Like it was like the turn around in the chair and follow them all the way out the door.
So your leg almost broke.
She's rubbernecking.
It was weird. Like, and I had never been like, but they like took my breath away for a second. And then they left, and I even said to my friend, I was like, that couple was so hot. You could like tell they like really worked out and stuff. And I kid you not, like 2 minutes later, those doors wide open again, and it's that couple, and they walk in and they come right up to me, and they're like, sorry to be so straightforward, but like, what is your situation? Like, you're beautiful. Like, it was really like sweet and kind, not kind of similar to your experience, but like they were just genuine and kind. And they sat down, and they were not drinkers, so they didn't offer to buy a drink or anything, but we just started talking, and again, I was a few margaritas in, so I don't remember the conversation exactly, but by the end of it, she was rubbing my leg and he was rubbing my other leg, and it was sexy, and they were like, we want to hang out with you. And I was like, because I'm vanilla and I don't know what does that mean. And they got my phone number, and the girl took my number, and her name's Stephanie, and Stephanie took my number, and she was like, we'll call you. And they left, and I was thinking, that's never going to happen. And sure enough, I got a text from them that night, and it was a picture of the two of them, and they were like, it was so nice to meet you. Love, Stephanie and Brian or whatever. And I was like, wow, that was wild. And the next day I remember I was at work and I was thinking about them, and yeah, it just kind of started happening. And they asked, like, we went out to a couple of lunches and some dinners, and, I was still going through my separation and my divorce. Like, I'm like, did they want to go to church with me, or did they want to, well, I'm like, and then I'm so vanilla. I'm like, what does this even mean?
Exactly.
Does it mean,
That will be me.
Well, I was thinking, like, is it me and her and he watches, or is it me and him
and
she
watches? Right.
Or is it all of us? Like, and in my mind, I was like, I'd kiss a couple girls like on a drunken night in college, but like, never been with a girl. Like, I'm not a lesbian. I'm like, so yeah, a lot of questions, but I think it was the curiosity and like, being so vanilla and getting a taste of this what if was like such a excitement, right? But it was very slow, friendly, just friends for a long time. Again, I was going through a lot of trauma.
So they took their time with you.
Well, I made them because I'm going through a divorce, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, like, fully split, paperwork not signed, but we're fully, separated and all that. And I started seeing them, and eventually became like their girlfriend.
Sorry, you're moving too fast.
Okay. You wanted the first interaction.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
I knew you were
please.
going there.
Please.
I knew you were
So first time you said, fine, I'm going to meet them for lunch. fine. I want to see what this looks like.
Yeah, well, I met him for lunch, went for dinner. We, went to the gym a couple times, like friendly,
Okay.
again, like I felt like she could be a girlfriend of, just hang out with us. He was, extremely sexy, said all the right words, all that. In my head, I'm like, how does this even work? Like, I would be a jealous bitch if I was her. Like, in my mind, I'm like, And
I always say I don't share.
yeah.
That's my thing. I don't share. I don't play nice. I don't share.
Yeah.
But the curiosity probably would have.
I was there.
Yeah.
And you talk to anybody in the lifestyle, and it's funny to see how they morph into what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because like the most extreme I've seen, and I will get back because I know you're waiting on that answer.
It's okay. I'll bring you back.
Bring you back.
On
Okay,
this one,
first-
she'll bring you
I
back.
got you,
I got
'cause
too many
It's
questions.
pretty good. But oh no, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the most extreme thing I had seen me personally in the lifestyle is again, once you're in the lifestyle, you start to know everybody. I know that's why when y'all said, "Oh, there's probably," I'm like, "Send me some pictures. I probably know them all." And come to find out afterwards, I saw the posts about all that, and I do know all them.
Okay.
But anywho, one of the couples who I know, and we, there's social medias that we have, like groups and stuff, so you get to know everybody on a different level. But one of these couples that I've, known forever, they are so far in the lifestyle that not only do they do full swaps in separate rooms, but she'll go on vacation with a man, just her, and another man. They're married with children, happily married with children, and everything is great. Been married a long time. She'll go on vacations out of town with another man
For the weekend.
for the weekend, and vice versa. And when I was like,
No, bitch.
when I right?
No,
But this is what they all say, because then there's the next level where someone says, "Oh, we're full swap in separate rooms." I'm like, huh? And then there's we're full swap or this or that, and there's all these layers.
I could see
And
the four of us
every-
going on vacation because we're swapping with each other and we're like,
Yeah.
then the four of us go
Oh,
on vacation,
right?
but
every
But
one of
not
those-
just somebody
not just
going
my
away.
husband going.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
ain't going away with my
But
man.
yes, but
somebody's
this is
going
what
on
you gotta
vacation. It's gonna be me.
realize. This is what you gotta realize. That couple, who I know very well,
Yeah.
side conversation, but I actually went to high school with that guy, and I
Okay.
was his first kiss. I know, it's so funny. It's so random. We met each other out
That is
in a
funny.
group
That is
setting,
funny.
and I was like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" And it was just kind of funny. But anywho, water under the bridge. But when I asked them, I'm like, "How? I can't even fathom doing that."
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And they go, "We've been doing this for a long time."
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay." And then you hear the group before that, the ones that do full swap. How do you? We've been doing this a long time. We didn't start like this. I wouldn't even let him kiss anybody. I wouldn't let him. So I think it's the longer you're in it, the
The more you trust your partner, maybe?
the more you trust your partner, the more you trust the community, the more you understand the dynamics of it, the more you,
Comfortable you get.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of these couples feel stronger in their relationships because it's a new understanding with their partner that they've never had.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it brings a lot of this conversation, which I'm still not 100% with, is about, are humans meant to be monogamous? Scientifically, and I struggle with that as a Christian, and, Adam and Eve and husband and wife and all that, is scientifically, we look at all these mammals in the world, and there's only a couple that are monogamous, dolphins and penguins, right?
Mhm.
But every other thousands of species are not monogamous.
Mhm.
So why are humans one of the three, or are they one of the 3 million?
Or
So-
did it stem
Yeah.
from, because we've
I
had this
was- I was
conversation
about to
before,
say,
did it
listen.
stem from the control of the church wanting
Absolutely.
to control the masses
Absolutely.
and put together this
Mhm.
structure of, and then we've been programmed
Absolutely.
into thinking that that's the way we're supposed to be living.
100%. And so, and then again, as a Christian woman, it's really hard. It's something I play with, and I definitely err more on the
Yeah.
Christian side.
If there's somebody that I look up to, Bible-wise,
Yeah.
even though I can tell you I have not read the Bible in a while because my divorce, whatever.
You're disconnected right
I'm
now.
disconnected right now. But it was a part of my life for many years.
It still is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody that I looked up to, Bible-wise, was David.
Yeah.
But this is where my question comes in, is the judgment. Why would we pass judgment on David
Right.
Yeah.
when he's human and he's making sins? but at the same time, he's struggling with his path
Right.
with God,
Absolutely.
you know?
And that's, I think, where I am today. And I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but I want to, it's very important, especially because in my current relationship, this is a struggle for us. And, that's just being real and raw. And I'm sure he's going to listen to this and
We love it. We love it.
Well, and I hope that he comes full circle and hears the right message. But, Corey and I, we struggle with that because we are, Christians. We are, we want to be, good disciples for Jesus and for God. And we want to be in that. And we know that, swinging isn't biblically correct or whatnot. But then we also struggle with at the same time, does this make our relationship stronger? So we definitely tie with this a lot. And that's why currently, like as of today, Corey and I are not involved in the lifestyle, meaning, we're not in any of the groups right now. We're not actively looking. We're not going to events like currently. Whereas, 6 months ago we were. So, and I don't know what that future is. And I think that's why we're where we are right now is because our hearts are pulling in two different directions. Currently right now, that's all I wanted to say about that is that, we do struggle and we are in a situation right now where we're not currently in the lifestyle. I don't know what that looks like in the future. And we've definitely been there in, our relationship, and there's been goods and bads and all sorts of things. So I don't remember how we got off topic, but you want to ask the question.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like our marriage is our priority.
100%.
And so we're fighting that together and we're trying to figure it out. And that's a big part of the lifestyle, and something that at some point, because I've been in the lifestyle for so long and know the lives, I know the people, I know the groups, I know they've got podcasts, and I know the podcast owners, I don't know what to call them, but I know them, and I know there's therapists in the lifestyle, and I would love to that's one thing that you never see on any of the groups or the apps or anything in the lifestyle is you never hear anything about the Christianity in it. And I would love to get the balls one day to just say, somebody tell me I'm not crazy, that I'm not the only person that's in and out of the lifestyle because of their Christianity following, right? And I want to understand it. But again, two completely separate subjects.
Right.
I love this.
We're going to have to bring you back, and when we talk about, spirituality and religion and stuff.
Please, because I've been
and
all
the
over
differences.
So maybe that's
and
another.
we'll probably bring you back, and you don't know this, our podcast don't know this, but, we have three different, I feel, backgrounds when it comes to spirituality, right?
Absolutely.
Even though Joanna and I have the Christianity, she's more open to other things that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that conversation is going to be really
absolutely.
fun to
and
have.
I'm learning that. Like I know a little bit of your background. I know a lot of yours because we've been in church together and learning you. So I do think that's another topic, and I would love to join that because while I am a hardcore Christian and I try my best to be the best every day, I am so open and love to seek to understand other people's point of views, and I enjoy hearing different people's point of views.
That's why we love you so much.
I do. I love that. I want to know everything. So, all right. So let's get back, Linda. Linda's dying to know.
I said we'll bring you back.
like,
So I'll bring you back.
We're coming back.
We're coming back. Okay, so
you guys asked how I got in. So I met this couple, and we dated. Let's call it dated, without sleeping together for a very long time. And
what's a very long time?
5 or 6 months, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm trying to make sure P's and Q's connect. Brian and Stephanie were engaged, and
how long had they been on the lifestyle? Because they brought you in, right?
Brian had been in the lifestyle for 20 something years.
Oh wow!
Definitely pro lifestyler.
So how old was he?
45.
Oh gosh,
46.
Okay, so a long time.
And Stephanie was around that age, and she'd been in it a long time, maybe 10 years as well.
Okay.
Which interestingly, you all got to see her the other night. Which, oh man, that's for, again, we can maybe end with that.
Oh my gosh, you can have 3 parts to this.
Oh my gosh, it's so multifaceted, and who knows? Maybe we'll get some comments like, "Oh, I want to know this," and we can do a series 2 of swinging and the lifestyle. But So the first time I remember they invited me over to their place. They did live together and they had like a duplex condo type of thing. And
Okay, question. Sorry, before you get there, because I know where you're
Did I
going.
know?
Before you get there. Sorry, guys. I did so much. When was the time that you realized, okay, I'm okay with this? Because obviously, when they invited you over after
Yeah.
5-6 months of dating, let's call it,
Yeah.
in your mind, you knew, okay, I know something's about to happen.
Yeah, I think
sexually.
I was complete in my mind with my separation from my husband. Basically, like we're waiting for the divorce paperwork to be
Right.
signed.
You knew there was no more connection.
There was no more connection, and I felt love for them. I did. I loved him. I loved her.
Did they say anything to you that made you feel comfortable?
Oh, everything. I mean, we were talking all the time, so it was like a regular relationship, just without the sex for that time.
Okay.
We were going to dinners.
So did you guys have like a group chat that you guys were all talking
Oh,
in?
yeah.
So it wasn't like he was texting you and she was texting you.
No, and that's another layer of swinging. Like group chats are a big thing. Like Corey and I's rule is, if anybody reaches out, you do not respond. You add the other person before you even respond, so that there's never ever any
confusion
or
or misunderstanding.
and we've always been like that, so it's always a group chat. But same thing. And then one day they were like, hey, do you want to come to our place, and have dinner or whatever? And I was like, sure. And I kind of knew in my mind, like, hey, this could potentially be where we escalate to the next level.
Here we go.
Yeah, I remember I walked in, and when you walk in, it's the living room, the kitchen, and they were very welcoming. Like, sat down. Again, they don't drink, so it was never like you could have a glass of wine, which is always kind of weird for me because I feel like drinking like loosens you up a little bit, even a glass of wine.
Any kind of anything.
Yeah.
Why do you think we have wine in our
I don't got anything. And
It loosens us up.
I remember, like, again, this is like, it was just like cute, and I think there was some like touchy kissy, like Stephanie and Brian was like fixing something in the kitchen, and Stephanie was like, come to the bedroom, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. So I went with her, and I did, and Brian had said something along the lines of like, do you want me to come with you guys? And I was like, I'm panicking at this point because again, I'm vanilla. I'm like never been with a girl. Like I'm like and then in my mind I'm like, is he gonna come in? What does happen? Do I get to it was just this funny thing. But it's funny. I walked in the room with her, and there was just like touchy, kissy, boobs and getting naked, and then I think I was like nervous because I'm with this girl and I don't know women. Like I'm not a lesbian. I'm still not lesbian. Like I could be like, well, you know what? I didn't know this is what was gonna happen. I thought we were gonna have dinner. So I'm here and I'm like, and like
she knew, but she didn't know.
I freaked out, like because I was more freaked out about being with her than him because
I would have probably been the same.
So
way.
I immediately was like, Brian, you can come in now.
Come handle your wife.
So like
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
And, to be completely honest, I don't remember the play-by-play, but I remember it being sensual and like, and they're checking in with me. Are you okay? Like, are we good? Like, anything anything that you say is a no is a no. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Did you have like code words or like, what are they called?
Safe
words.
Well, the safe word joke is pineapple because like pineapple is.
Yeah.
I think Corey and I had one because the first time we actually swung together, we did do a full swap with a couple at a hotel.
Yeah.
Continue.
But hold on.
Wait, yeah.
We're not ready for that. There was a code word.
We're not ready for that.
Back to Brandon and Stephanie. So long story short, we
Let's bring you back in.
we hooked up, and instantly what I realized as a unicorn
Yeah.
or the girl of the throuple, like the girlfriend, is that they are there to please you.
Well, I was gonna ask that.
And-
was it always that way?
Yeah.
So it's always about the unicorn.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not
so.
about the unicorn making the couple happy.
I think it was like maybe in that situation, it was very much like they were making sure I was comfortable. Again, they were like
Well, the first
20
time.
years in it. But then it became, and and Stephanie and she wasn't a lesbian either, so we had to learn like how to please each other, and whether it's oral or
Whatever.
fingering.
Yeah.
Like, we both have
And
fake
this is-
nails and
Oh,
and it never. I will say, her and I always talked like this isn't something like we get like super like we're turned on because it's sexy, it's like gropey and
Sensual,
but
yeah.
neither one of us were like horny about each other, like what I mean, because we're not lesbians.
But you did mention she was in the lifestyle for like 10 years. So
Yeah.
how was she unaware? How was she vanilla in the lifestyle?
Because typically it was a man that would come in their relationship. So that's where this is going to get further. So I'll explain, because that's ended up being more I was experienced after Stephanie. So
4-part series.
I can round this out very quick.
Right.
I can round it out because I think the interesting is how do you get into it when you haven't been into it,
Right.
And then I started dating them like more seriously, and I was their girlfriend. But what unfortunately I didn't know was that Brian and Stephanie were in a really toxic relationship, and they were basically looking for something to save their relationship.
So you were the baby in
I
the
quickly
relationship.
realized there was a lot of toxicity there,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to play both sides. When her and we go to the gym together, get our nails done, and it was very like, I just don't know what's up with him, and I'm having these feelings. And then when I'm with Brian, it would be like, oh, she's crazy, and she needs to take her meds, and like it was really like a very up and down. Which I think I've kind of told you guys long term when we ran into her the other night. Hindsight 2020, like she was right, and I should have never, stayed with that. I should have, when we broke up, they broke up, we should have all broke up. But unfortunately, I was in a state of chaos. I was going through divorce. I was introduced to something that was new and shiny, and he's a narcissist. So we've all been with narcissists. You know that they do and say everything to rope you in, and
Yes.
you don't realize that the mask comes off until you're fully in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he broke up with her, and him and I moved into an apartment down the street. And I was building a house for me and my daughter to start our life. And he and I lived together for a while, and there was a lot of ups and downs. We continued in the lifestyle, but it definitely morphed more into me and him and a man.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah. And
how did that look like for you? How did that make you feel?
there was one regular guy that I didn't have a problem with. He was kind and caring, and I hate to say my type, because I was so in love with Brian, I wasn't thinking about my type by any means. But he was really good, and I liked him. But I kept pushing against Brian, and Brian and I would get in some big altercations. And like I said, he was not a good person. And I think I got introduced to the lifestyle in a different, an unhealthy way in that manner. So there was a lot of like, I don't want to say there was a lot. I did not, like, I was still very high standard, like, no. It was only
this, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, there was only a couple of experience, like different people in that whole entire relationship, and I just I went into it. I thought it was everything. Brian and I ended up breaking up. About a year later. I saw everything that she had seen. The narcissism, the abuse, all the things. I was partly thinking.
Was she reaching out to you throughout the year?
No. She was
Jeez.
so mad at me because, who wouldn't be? I
Right.
basically stole her man in
her eyes.
quotations.
Even though she didn't want him because she knew he was bad.
she wanted him because she was broken.
Yeah.
She was
how we
toxic.
are as empaths that love
She was
narcissists.
codependent.
She was very codependent, and so I was the one that stole her man. And looking back, if I could take anything back, I would have picked her any day. I would have picked her friendship and her, we'd probably still be friends. And I hate that. It's like one of those big regrets. But, anyone that's been in a narcissist relationship knows that they can persuade you to do anything.
Yeah.
And so
You end up with
unfortunately,
blinders that you had no idea that you even had the
I was
capacity.
that girl where everyone goes, what
Yeah.
an idiot. I've said it, what an idiot. And
But you have to think about all the stuff you went through. You went through a divorce.
yeah.
Then this man and this woman come into your life. They make you feel loved. They
Yeah.
make you feel
Yeah.
they make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They show you all the stuff that you're missing at the
Validation,
moment.
affirmations,
Mhm.
gift giving.
Well, Sarah, and I kind of shared with you this weekend. I feel like I was in such an unhealthy place when I was going to the bar every Friday
Yeah.
that I feel like if the right couple, because again, I didn't know what was happening when they were flirting with me, when they were
Yeah.
buying me drinks, when they were
Yeah, you could have
praising me.
It could have happened to you.
Like I did not know what was happening.
Well, it was everything you needed at that moment.
Correct. And that's what I was going to get to. But if the couple would approach me like they did to you, hey, listen, I just
Very
saw
openly
you.
about
Very
it. Yeah.
openly. Hey, I
Yeah.
just saw you. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
And they would have said,
Tell me more.
yeah. Well, you're
Right.
such a talented, smart girl.
And in
Blah,
your
blah, blah.
mind, you're thinking, I'm broken, I'm nothing, nobody loves me, I don't know who I
Correct.
am, I'm
Correct.
falling apart. They're giving you everything that you wanted to hear.
Correct. And they would have given me their number. Because that's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't have contact to any of these couples that they reached out to me at that point.
Absolutely.
But if they would have gotten my number,
You know,
and I wouldn't be broken, like I felt like I was
Yeah.
broken in that time,
it could have happened to
it could have
you.
happened to me. But
Yeah.
thankfully, Yvette picked
And
me
don't
up.
get me wrong, mine is
I picked her up instead.
Mine is a common way of meeting people in the lifestyle, but then it went really toxic. Where I think that there is a lot to the lifestyle, and I think majority of the time it is not toxic, and that's why I want to be very clear.
Clarify.
These are two different experiences. I unfortunately was with a very toxic man in the lifestyle, where if that couple was not toxic and was healthy and in a good relationship, who knows? We could probably all still be together and enjoying the lifestyle. But you know, unfortunately, I learned a lot about the lifestyle. Unfortunately, it broke me as a person and
Even more.
it caused a lot of trauma because I was needing a certain type of love and I was not getting that. I was getting something else. You know, a lot of traumas, a lot of heartache, a lot of that. And then, you know, Brian and I eventually, I was able to get the strength through therapy and all that to walk away, kick him out. And he went on his way and was quickly with the next one, as narcissists are.
Yeah.
And
They just need a body.
yeah,
They don't care
and
who
you
it
know,
is.
really never talked again.
Yep.
And you know, not that it makes a difference, but he unfortunately, you know, committed suicide about a year ago, and we had been broken up for almost 2 years. So that was a really like almost like a reopening of heartache and a very strange grieving.
Trauma.
And so it's hard because with Brian, I associate a lot of my swinging, a lot of, you know, life. And,
Well, he showed
and
you
all
a
that.
different side of life that
He
you were
did.
not used to.
What I do take away from that
And loss
relationship,
is loss.
absolutely,
Mhm.
loss is loss. It's awful, and you know, what I do take away, I got a lot of traumas from it, but I also take away that I'm happy that I was introduced to the lifestyle at all. I don't know if I would have ever come across it again unless, you know, maybe there was that one couple or I, you know, skipped on a website one day or something. And, but what it did for me was it opened my eyes to realize, like, sexually, that anything is okay. Like, what, you know, it doesn't make you weird if you have a kink or if you know, are maybe not in the monogamous mindset, like where you struggle with, you know, one partner or whatnot. And, you know, and again, that's something that I'm struggling with right now because of, you know, the Christianity side of it, and Corey and I being in a, you know, a newer marriage, and we'll figure it out one
Of
day.
course.
But you know, the lifestyle has a lot to offer, and I, not that I want to say like everybody should try it, because I don't think everybody should try it, but I do think the lifestyle is a beautiful place for people who, you know, maybe want to expand on their sexuality in a non-judgmental environment that is also can be relationship building, not just sexually. You know, Corey and I have some unicorns that we still are friends with. Like we talk to them, you know, we don't hook up with them anymore. We still talk to them. We still keep up with them on social media.
Because one never knows.
Yeah, you know, and you know, and we even talk about it now. Like, even though we're not like actively looking in the lifestyle, meaning on the, you know, the portals or the podcast, or that you'd be shocked at all the things they have their own, you know, like dating sites and all these things that are set up just for that. We're not actively on the air. I said, but who knows? Maybe like some girl will walk into our life and sweep us both off our feet and we say, hey, you want to come sleep with us? Come on, we'll show you a good time.
Yeah.
And, I think I'd be more open to that organic stuff. But right now, like I'm still struggling with, what does this look like in our relationship? Are there other things in our relationship that we're trying to build? Because I do think when you go into it as a couple, you have to be like fully healthy in your relationship in order for it to work.
I think just as a person though, too, you have to go into anything. I mean, into even new relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this with Kevin and Randall on one of the episodes where sure, you can be in relationships as a broken person and you can kind of go through the healing process along with your partner. But if you're going into something like this to kind of get your kicks off or your rocks off, and it's like, then you're not going into it with a good intention, I don't feel. And if you're insecure about yourself in any kind of way, or your ability to give your partner what your partner needs, or vice versa, get what you need from your partner, and be open with your partner about that, then if that intimacy, that level of intimacy is not already established between you and your partner, then you're not going to find it with somebody else. Like you're just not going to do it. If you're insecure in any kind of way, I feel. Now, I'm not in the lifestyle, so I don't know, but I just feel like people try, just like in marriages, when they try to have babies to save their marriage, or they try, like what this couple did with you, try to bring somebody to try to save their relationship.
Recipe for disaster.
Exactly. So I don't want to say that everybody has to be like super healed already to be in relationships or even to explore different avenues of their sexual relationship. But you have to, as a person, you have to be at least at some level of,
security,
healthy mindset,
understanding where you lack,
you're
working on improving emotionally and mentally.
Now, if you're walking into it and you're like, okay, we're going to go, like we talked about this club, we've talked about it as friends, we talked about this club. It's like, I want to go just because I'm curious, but I also don't have somebody, who's right here next to me saying, no, that's not something I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that. So I can do whatever the hell I want to do because
you're a unicorn.
Well, but that's what I'm saying though, is like, there's couples where, you're like, every dynamic is different. And you may want something, but if the other person is uncomfortable and you don't want to like 100%. Make that person uncomfortable or whatever, but vice versa, if you are curious about that, then there has to be some level of communication and understanding and compromise and trust.
Compromise, I think, is a big one. But also, there's a big thing where, especially in the couple swap, where it's, a man and a woman and a man and a woman, and you're literally switching partners, whether it's in the same room or not, you never take one for the team. Meaning, because there are a lot of unbalanced couples.
Don't do it just because the other one wants
maybe
to.
Maybe the wife is super hot and the husband's not. Or maybe the husband is like charming and amazing and fun and personal, and the wife is like, a nail in the mud. Whatever it is. Yeah. You wouldn't say, well, Corey, I know you really like this girl. I like her too. I'll take one for the team and have sex with him just because I want you to. You would never do that. And that is so disrespectful.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's hard because some unhealthy couples may go, you never want to do anything that I want to do. And that becomes very toxic. But you have to have that realization. I think the only way that this works for couples, again, if you're in the lifestyle as a couple, you have to have open communication.
Boundaries.
You have to have boundaries, a lot of rules. Like I said, there's some people say there's no kissing, or some people say, protection or no protection. And some people say, in the same room or not in the same room. And then there's a million layers. Some people even get down to like the granular where they're like, you can't spank her ass because that's for me, or whatever that is. And it's a non-judgmental when you talk to somebody, because you don't know why they feel that way. Right. And there's no judgment there, but it's very open. I do think the further in the lifestyle people get, those boundaries go way down. Like we were kind of talking about with these couples.
The longer you've been in it.
Yeah, couples that full swap and they go out of town with other people without their spouse and stuff like. And most people go, oh my God, how could you ever do that? But if they've been doing it for 20 years and that works for them and they come home and they're a better person for their spouse, and a better, whatever the rest of the, 6 months that they're not doing that, then so be it. So I think it's non-judgmental. I think the lifestyle community as a whole is really good. You're always going to have those onesie twosies that don't respect your boundaries and, or you have to say something to somebody. Like I said, no, I remember one time we were at the sex club and Corey and I were there and we actually brought a unicorn, one of our girlfriends with us. And we weren't doing anything. We were just having drinks. I don't even think we they call it playing. We didn't play that night or anything. We were literally there just to have drinks and see our friends and say hello. And there was this random dude and he just kept walking by and like telling me how beautiful I am. And Corey is sitting right there and our other girlfriend. And he was just like, and then he would say like, if you want to come play, we're over there. And I'm like, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm good tonight, And then he'd come back by. He's like, hey, we're, second chance. You want to come play? I'm good. And then my third, like, I'm not interested. Leave me alone. So you do get that. And I do think you have to have a little bit of balls.
And probably to the drinking.
And drinking does help. Now, that's another big thing in that lifestyle is some of the big rules for, couples especially will say like, hey, we're not, if you can't hook up without drugs and alcohol, like we're not into you. Yeah. Because they realize like, anybody can do anything with drugs and alcohol. Or, they say, hey, 1 or 2 drinks is fine. But like, if you're slosh, like we're not interested. And I have a lot of respect for that, right?
Yeah.
Because that means like, hey, we're not just here to like fucking leave. Like there's gotta be
a level of
respect and boundaries.
Well, and consent.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're like, okay.
When you're hammered.
I was a little bit tipsy the night of the swingers party at our local.
Can I set it up?
Go right ahead. I've been dying
because JoJo was there.
It's your time,
all right.
girl.
Joanna's point of view from the swingers party at our local.
So here it goes.
Yes.
This fine honey, because he was a good looking older gentleman,
60-year-old.
And we had seen him come in. Well, I saw him come in with a woman. And of course, they had to check in and all that stuff. So I'm trying to set it all up for you guys. Anywho, he ends up going to the front of the bar. And I see that my girl's eyes are locked in. And I'm talking about Yvette. Locked in.
Like, she's like, who is this?
She's like, oh my God.
So this is where we're going to take a little break. We've come to the point where we've decided to break this episode up into 2 episodes. We recorded with our friend Sarah, and it was such a tantalizing and exciting conversation that it went really, really long, way longer than any of the other ones that the girls and I have recorded previously. So there's way more to the story. Our friend Joanna is setting up the scene at our local bar for this swingers party, and where a couple tried to pick me up. I do want to say that this is not the first time that something like this has happened with me. For some reason, I attract a lot of lesbians. Or women that like to kind of, play in the in the field of lesbianism. Anyway, it wasn't new to me, but with a couple swinging, yeah, that part was new. Usually it's just the females that are trying to pick me up. But anyway, the story does get very interesting, and we continue on talking a lot more about all things swinging with our friend Sarah. She was gracious enough to answer all of our questions, and we were very curious. So come back and join us. We'll probably release part 2 of Let's Talk About Sex, Baby, part 3. So part 2 of part 3 will be released on Wednesday. Just give me some time and I'll get it out there. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and thank you so much for joining us every Sunday on Chats con Sabor.